Now let us discuss about the incubation period of leprosy. The incubation period of the leprosy is 2 to 40 years. 2 to 40 years. 2 to 40 years, but it can be generally 3 to 5 years. And the incubation period is longer for the lepromatous form than the tuberculous form. Okay. So, in lepromatous form, the incubation period is more longer, and for the tuberculous form, it is shorter. Okay. So you can see that the incubation period is over the years. Why so long incubation period? Why Mycobacterium leprae? Why the leprosy has so long incubation period? Because the Mycobacterium leprae doubling time. Okay, that means the time taken by the Mycobacterium leprae to double its number is long. It is about 12 to 13 days. It is about 12 to 13 days. So, due to the long doubling time of the Mycobacterium leprae, that is 12 to 13 days, the incubation period of the leprosy is 2 to 40 years, but in average it is about 3 to 5 years, and the incubation period is more longer for the lepromatous form than the tuberculous form. Okay. The leprosy is classified by various classifications. Okay, the commonly used are, first is the Ridley-Jopling's classification. Okay. Second is Indian classification. Third is the Madrid classification. And fourth is the WHO classification. So, we will discuss about all these classification in detail now. Okay. So, starting from the Ridley-Jopling's classification, first is the Ridley-Jopling's classification. According to the Ridley-Jopling's classification, okay, the leprosy is a bipolar disease. Bipolar disease means it has two poles of disease. That means the spectrum runs from the polar tuberculoid form, borderline tuberculoid, polar tuberculoid, borderline tuberculoid, mid borderline, borderline lepromatous, and polar lepromatous. So, the disease runs from the polar tuberculoid to the polar lepromatous form. Okay. So, when we move from the tuberculoid form to polar tuberculoid form to the polar lepromatous form, what are the features that are seen? Okay. We will discuss in detail, but let us see what is trending from tuberculoid form to the lepromatous form. Okay. The skin lesions from the tuberculoid form, as we move from the tuberculoid form to the lepromatous form, the skin lesions progressively becomes macule, papule, nodule, and generalized. So, the skin lesions are macule in the polar tuberculoid form, whereas in the lepromatous form they are mostly generalized, and the skin involvement is also asymmetrical to symmetrical. That means as we move down the tuberculoid to the lepromatous form, the skin involvement is symmetrical. So, in polar tuberculoid form, the skin involvement is asymmetrical, whereas in the polar lepromatous form, the skin involvement is symmetrical. Okay. Second, okay, bacterial load. Okay, as we move from the polar tuberculoid form to the polar lepromatous form, the bacterial load increases. So bacterial load is least in the polar tuberculoid form, whereas it is the most in the polar lepromatous form. So what is the clinical significance of bacterial load? Okay, if there is more bacteria, there is more antigen. Okay, there is more antibody formation. So when we do the serology, the PGL1 antibodies are more seen in the lepromatous form and less seen in the tuberculoid form. Okay. Third is Mycobacterium leprae specific cellular immunity. This is most important. Okay, as we move from the tuberculoid form to the lepromatous form, the cellular immunity decreases. And it is manifested by, that means the cellular immunity is more in the tuberculoid form and it is poor in the lepromatous form. What is the clinical significance of it? We can see this through the lepromine skin test. Okay, lepromine skin test. So the lepromine skin test, which is a test for the cellular immunity, this is positive in the tuberculoid form, whereas as we move towards the lepromatous form, it is negative. Okay, and fourth is the knob involvement. Okay, knob involvement is early. Okay, knob involvement is marked in the tuberculoid form, whereas in the lepromatous form it is less marked or slight, but it is widespread. And for knob involvement also, the like skin involvement, there is the asymmetrical involvement of nerve in the tuberculoid form, whereas in the lepromatous form there is a symmetrical involvement of peripheral knobs. So we can see that the asymmetry progressively progresses to the symmetrical involvement of the nerve. Okay. So now let us discuss about the tuberculoid form and the lepromatous form separately, and in last we will compare and contrast the tuberculoid form and the lepromatous form. Okay, first is the tuberculoid form. Tuberculoid leprosy comprises two forms, that is the polar tuberculoid and borderline tuberculoid. Okay, and is the least severe form. Okay, and we have already discussed in the epidemiology that the tuberculoid form and borderline tuberculoid are more common in the India. The polar tuberculoid form is more common in the Africa, and the borderline tuberculoid form is more common in the Southeast Asia. And there is also a trend that as we move from the tuberculoid form to the lepromatous form, the more organs are involved. So in the tuberculoid form, there is only involvement of skin and peripheral nerves. Okay, whereas as we move down towards the lepromatous form, the other organs like anterior chamber of the eye, testes are also affected. Okay, so In the tubercular form, there is a skin and peripheral nerve involvement. Okay, so what is the typical feature of skin in the tubercular form? Skin in tubercular form. The skin of the tubercular form is one or few hypopigmented macules or plaques. Second, it is sharply demarcated. It's very important, sharply demarcated. Okay, sharply demarcated. Third is it is hypaesthetic. Fourth is erythematous and raised border. And it is devoid of normal skin organs. That means sweat glands and hair follicles are absent. Okay, sweat glands and hair follicles are absent. So the skin becomes dry, scaly, and anhydrotic. Okay, so in the tubercular form, there is the one of few hypopigmented macules of plaque, sharply demarcated, hypaesthetic, erythematous raised border, and devoid of normal skin organs. Now let us compare this skin involvement of the tubercular form with the lepromatous form. The lepromatous form, I have already discussed that the lepromatous form, there is the asymmetrical. Okay, this is the asymmetrical involvement of skin, and whereas in the lepromatous form, there is a symmetrical involvement of the skin. First thing, this is sharply demarcated. Okay. Second, but in the lepromatous form, it is ill defined or poorly marginated. Okay. Third, I have already discussed that as we move from the tubercular form to the lepromatous form, the skin lesions become macule, papule, nodules, and the generalize. So in the tubercular form, there is only the macules or the plaques, whereas in the lepromatous forms, there are nodules. Multiple infiltrated nodules and plaques. Okay, multiple infiltrated nodules and the plaques. Okay, and other things we will be discussing in the few minutes. Okay, and I have already discussed in the tubercular form, the ARP acid fast bacilli is less. So the antibodies antigen is less, antibody is less, so PGL1 antibodies are less. Okay, and I have also discussed that there is the asymmetrical enlargement of the in the tubercular form, there is the asymmetrical enlargement of peripheral knobs also. And we should remember a fact that the leprosy and certain rare hereditary neuropathies are the only human diseases associated with peripheral knob involvement, associated with peripheral knob enlargement. Okay, so which is the most common knob involved? In the most common knob involved is the ulnar knob. Okay, ulnar knob, followed by posterior auricular knob, followed by peroneal knob, followed by posterior tibial knob. Okay, now coming to the knob involvement in the tubercular form. Knob involvement in tubercular form. Okay, in tubercular form, there is the invasion and destruction of we should remember the fact that invasion and destruction of knobs in Dormice by T cell. It is a pathognomic. It is a pathognomic for leprosy. For leprosy. So in the tubercular form, the nerve destruction is as follows. Okay, so in the tubercular form, this is the perineurium, this is the epineurium, and this is the endoneurium. Okay, this is the endoneurium. So in the perineurium, there is a breach, okay, breach of perineurium, and destruction of destruction of Schwann cells, okay, by T cells. Okay, there is a breach of perineurium by the T cells and destruction of the Schwann cells in the perineurium. And in the epineurium, we can see there is a fibrosis in the epineurium, and in endoneurium we can find the granuloma. So this is the epithelial granuloma. Replace endoneurium. So in the tubercular form, we can see this type of picture, whereas in the lepromatous form, there are degenerations in the nerve, like the foamy degeneration, degenerative myelination, axonal degeneration, and Wallerian degeneration, Okay. And we should also remember the fact that as we move from the tuberculoid form to the lepromatous form, we have already discussed that the cellular immunity decreases. To the lymphocytes. Recognition also decreases. So in the tubercular form, the lymphocytes are 2+, that is, lymphocytes are more, whereas in the lepromatous form, the lymphocytes are less, and the lymphocytes can recognize Mycobacterium leprae. So I have also discussed that the lepromine skin test is positive. Because the cellular immunity is present in the tubercular form. Okay, In the tubercular form, it is very easy. Tubercular form, Th1 cytokine pattern can be seen. Okay, Th1 cytokine pattern. Whereas in the lepromatous form, as we move from the tubercular to the lepromatous form, Th2 cytokine pattern is seen. What is Th1 cytokine pattern and Th2 cytokine pattern? Okay, we already know that the T helper cell is differentiated into two types. Okay, Th2 and Th1, and interleukin 12 and interleukin 4. Okay, and by the use of interleukin Th1 cytokine pattern, and it regulates itself by the interleukin 2. Okay, this Th1 will convert the macrophages to the giant cell. Okay, and it is done by the tumor necrotic factor and interferon gamma. So the Th1 cytokine pattern is seen in the tuberculoid, means that there is the presence of interleukin 12, there is the presence of interleukin 2, there is the presence of tumor necrotic factor, and there is the presence of interferon gamma and Th1 cells. Whereas in the lepromatous form, Th2 cytokine pattern is seen. That means there is a presence of interleukin 4, there is a presence of interleukin 2, and this Th2 will do what? It will convert the B lymphocytes to the plasma cells, okay, or the antibodies. So in the this is seen in the tubercular form, whereas in the lepromatous form there is more presence of Th2 cells, interleukin 4, interleukin 2 and interleukin 5. Okay, so Th1 cytokine pattern is seen in the tubercular form, and CD4 to CD8 ratio, that means in the tubercular form it is very easy. Okay, in tubercular form, as we progresses, it is Th1 Th2 cytokine pattern 1 2. Okay, CD4 are more present in tubercular form, whereas in lepromatous form CD8 are more present. Okay, so in the tubercular form CD4 is to CD8 ratio is 2:1, whereas in the lepromatous form CD8 to CD4 ratio is 2:1, 2:1. Okay, now let us discuss some of the fact about the lepromatous. If we have missed something, lepromatous leprosy, I have already discussed there is a symmetrical involvement of the skin lesion, there is a symmetrical involvement of the knobs, okay, and there is a diffuse dermal infiltration. In the lepromatous form, we can find a feces known as leonine feces. L for lepromatous, L for leonine feces. Leonine feces means lion-like feces. Okay, lion-like fish. Okay, and I have also discussed that the bacilli are more in the lepromatous form. Okay, peripheral knob involvement is foamy degeneration, axonal degeneration, and wall linear degeneration. Okay, bacilli are plentiful. Bacilli are plentiful in the circulation, except bacilli are not seen in two organs, that is lungs and sinus. In the lungs and the sinus, the bacilli are not present. Okay, but lepromatous form is afebrile form, and there is no major organ dysfunction, there is no major organ system dysfunction. Okay, and I have also discussed there is a symmetrical involvement of the peripheral knobs in the lepromatous form, and it is called the involvement is called acral distal symmetrical peripheral neuropathy. That means acral distal means it is a distal, in the distal region, symmetrical peripheral neuropathy. And I have also discussed that the lepromatous form, other organs are also affected, like upper respiratory tract, anterior chamber of the eye, and the testes. I have also discussed that in the lepromatous form, because the lymphocytes are less, and lymphocytes cannot recognize the Mycobacterium leprae, so the lepromin skin test is negative. And CD8 are more, and Th2 cytokine is more present in the lepromatous form. But we have to remember a fact that in the leprosy, the macrophages, although there is the lepromin skin test is negative, but the macrophages are functionally intact. And the circulating monocytes have normal microvisual function and responsiveness to interferon gamma. And this loss of the protective immunity, which is seen in loss of protective cellular immunity, which is seen in the mostly the lepromatous form of the leprosy, appears to be antigen specific. That means this cellular immunity loss is only for the Mycobacterium leprae. Okay, it is only for Mycobacterium leprae. Unlike in the measles, where we have the immunosuppressed state, and various type of diseases, various type of infections attack opportunistically, but in the leprosy there is no opportunistic infection. So this cellular immunity appears to be only antigen specific, that is only for the Mycobacterium leprae, and there is the maintenance of delayed type hypersensitivity response to the other pathogen, delayed type hypersensitivity response to other pathogens, hypersensitivity response to other pathogens. So now let us just discuss all these features very fast. Okay, differences between the tuberculate form and the lepromatous form. Okay, here we write tuberculate form and right the lepromatous form. Okay, first, skin lesions. We have already discussed that in the tuberculate the skin lesions is few, but in the lepromatous they are more, that is hundreds, that is more confluent and multiple. Okay, distribution of skin lesion, we have also discussed that the distribution of skin lesion in the tuberculate form is asymmetrical. Okay, and they can be anywhere, whereas the distribution is symmetrical in case of lepromatous form. Age and clarity, we have also discussed that in the tuberculate form the age is defined age. Okay, and there is, but in the lepromatous form the age is vague or poorly marginated, and there is in the tuberculate form there is marked hypopigmentation is marked. We have also discussed in the lepromatous form the hypopigmentation is only slight. Okay, and description of skin lesion, how can we describe the skin lesion? One or few sharply defined, asymmetrical, sharply defined, ill-defined, asymmetrical, symmetrical. Okay, and annular macules of plaques, they are nodules and plaques or diffuse infiltration under the skin. Okay, or tendency to ward central clearing or tendency to ward central clearing, whereas in the lepromatous form it is like a xanthoma like or dermatofibroma like, and we can see the leonine facies, and I forgot to mention that there is a eyebrow alopecia. Eyebrow alopecia means there is a loss of the eyebrow in the, mainly in the lepromatous form. There is a loss of the eyebrow, eyelashes, and the earlobes can be pendulous, and dry scaling skin can be seen. Okay, now coming to the knob lesions. Anesthesia, I have also discussed that in the tuberculate form it is only marked, defined. Okay, and localized to skin lesions or major peripheral knobs. Okay, but in the lepromatous form it is late sign. Okay, initially slight, ill-defined, but extensive over the cool areas of the body. Okay, autonomic loss, this is also early, but it is late in the lepromatous form. Autonomic. Knob enlargement, I have also discussed the knob enlargement marked in the case of tuberculate form, where it is slight in case of the lepromatous form. Okay, and we should also remember that the knob abscess is most common in the borderline tuberculate form. We will discuss it in the complications. Okay, we will discuss it this fact in the complications. Systemic involvement. I have already discussed that the systemic involvement is absent in the tuberculate form and it is present in the borderline form. And the Mycobacterium leprae are less in the tubercular form, more in the Lepromatous form. Acid fast bacilli are less in the tubercular form, more in the Lepromatous form. And the Lepromin skin test, it is positive in case of tubercular form, it is negative in case of Lepromatous form. And lymphocytes are more in the tubercular form, less in the Lepromatous form. Macrophage differentiation, we should remember one fact: the macrophage differentiation is epitheloid in case of tubercular form, whereas it is foamy change in case of Lepromatous form. And lymphocyte transformation test, it is positive and generally positive, and it is only 1 to 2%. PGL1 antibodies, I have already discussed. PGL1 antibodies less and more in the Lepromatous form. And CD4 to CD8 ratio, it is 1.2 to 0.5. okay, that means CD4 are more common in the tubercular form, whereas in the Lepromatous form CD8 forms are more common. Okay, now coming to the we have a variation of the Lepromatous form that is called the diffuse lepromatosis. Okay, and it is most commonly seen in the, I have already Mexico and the Caribbean. Okay, in this form there is the diffuse dermal infiltration. There is diffuse dermal infiltration without visual skin lesion. Okay, and now let us discuss about the reaction states. Okay, reaction states. How we can discuss reaction states. These reaction states can be present before the diagnosis. They can be found before the diagnosis, or they can come after the institution of chemotherapy. Okay, so the reaction states, sometimes the patient may perceive that the symptoms are worsening. Okay, and reaction states are two types: type 1 Lepra reaction and type 2 Lepra reaction. Okay, type 1 Lepra reaction is also called the downgrading and reversal reaction. And type 2 Lepra reaction is also called the erythema nodosum leprosum ENL. Okay, it is also called the erythema nodosum leprosum ENL. Type 1 Lepra reaction, that is downgrading and reversal reaction, almost half of the patient with the borderline leprosy, it mostly occurs in the borderline leprosy. Okay, and it is not seen in the pure form. Okay, and most important feature in the type 1 Lepra reaction is the inflammation. So edema is the characteristic feature. And the most common knob involvement is the ulnar knob at elbow. And this knob, due to this, there is painful, and it becomes painful and exquisitely tender. Okay, and if there is the involvement of peroneal knob, there can be foot drop. So what is the main difference between the downgrading reaction? What is the difference between the downgrading reaction and the reversal reaction? Down means downgrading, it is going down. Reversal means it has reversed from some state. Okay, that means downgrading reaction, this precedes the initiation of appropriate antimicrobial therapy. Okay, whereas the reversal reaction, they are initiated after the institution of after the institution of appropriate antimicrobial therapy. Okay, so these downgrading reactions are more common in the lepromatous form, whereas the reverse reactions are more common in the tubercular form. Okay, and we have also discussed in the tubercular, if there is a tubercular form, there is a Th1 cytokine pattern. Type 1 reactions, that means downgrading and reversal reactions, are associated with large number of T cells, bearing gamma or delta receptors. Okay, and this is the unique feature of leprosy. So in the unique feature of leprosy. So in the type 1 lepra reaction, there is large number of T cells bearing the gamma or delta receptors. So in the T cells there is gamma or delta receptors. Okay, what can be the other manifestation of the type 1 lepra reaction? Okay, type 1 lepra reaction, in the type 1 lepra reaction, it is a type of the delayed type hypersensitivity. It is a delayed type hypersensitivity. Type 1 lepra reaction is a delayed type hypersensitivity, and normally other organs are not affected, as in type 2 reaction. In type 2 reaction, other organs like eye, testes, kidney are affected, whereas in type 1 lepra reaction they are not affected. And general symptoms are also not common. In type 1 lepra reaction, and the skin lesions. The skin lesions which were previously present, they become, okay, not new skin lesion. The skin lesions which were previously present, they suddenly becomes reddish, swollen, warm, painful and tender. Okay. Now coming to the type 2 lepra reaction. Type 2 lepra reaction is also called the ENL, erythema nodosum leprosum. As the name suggests, erythema, that means there is erythema, nodosum in the nodule present, nodosum, and leprosum associated with the lepromatous form. So there is a erythematous and there is the nodule associated with the lepromatous form. So type 2 lepra reaction are most commonly associated with the lepromatous form, borderline lepromatous or polar lepromatous, and they occur within 2 years after the institution of the and in 90% they are initiated after the initiation of the chemotherapy. And in these regions, the new skin lesions can appear, new painful erythematous papules can appear, and there can be single bout or the chronic recurrence of the lesions. Okay, and when we do the skin biopsy of erythema nodosum leprosum, we can find the vasculitis or paninculitis. Okay, and there are polymorphonuclear leukocytes, and as the type 2 lepra reactions are associated more commonly with the lepromatous form, so Th2 cytokine pattern is more prominent, and Th2 cytokine patterns are more prominent in the ENL, erythema nodosum leprosum. Okay, and in erythema nodosum leprosum, other organs are also affected, like the eyes, testes, and the kidneys are also affected, and knobs may be affected, but they are not as common as severe and in type 1 lepra reaction. And there can be general symptoms. General symptoms are also more common in the type 2 reactions. Okay, like fever, joint pain, redness of the eye, and watering of the eye. Okay, so let us just differentiate between these two types of the reaction in quick: type 1 and type 2 lepra reaction. Type 1 lepra reaction, it is a type of delay type hypersensitivity response. And type 2 is a antigen antibody reaction. Okay, and it is seen in the most commonly in the borderline forms, whereas it is most commonly seen in the multivascular form or the lipomatous forms. Okay, and skin lesions which were previously present, they become reddish, swollen and tender, whereas in the type 2 Lepra reaction, the new skin lesions can appear. Okay, new skin lesions which are the like the erythema, which are erythematous, red painful tender nodules can appear. Okay, and these crops can be single or they can recur, and the knob involvement is more common with the type 1 Lepra reaction. Okay, more, and in type 2 Lepra reaction, the knob can be affected, but they are not as common or severe as in type 2 Lepra reaction. Okay, other organs are not affected in the type 1 Lepra reaction, whereas other organs like the testes, kidney and the eye are affected in the type 2 Lepra reaction, and the general symptoms are not present in the type 1 Lepra reaction, whereas general symptoms like the fever, joint pain, redness of the eye with the watering are present in the type 2 Lepra reaction. So these are two types of the type 1 and type 2 Lepra reaction. Okay, now there is another one phenomenon in the reaction state, that is called the Lucius phenomenon. Okay, and this Lucius phenomenon is seen in the diffuse lepromatous form, Okay, this is seen in the diffuse lepromatosis. And in the Lucius phenomenon, there is the recurrent crops of large, sharply marginated ulcerative lesions are present. Okay, and these are particularly present in the lower extremities. These are mostly present in the lower extremities. How can we remember? Lucius phenomenon, lower extremities. Okay, and why it can be fatal? Due to two reasons. Because there are ulcerative lesions, so these ulcerative lesions can become secondarily infected, due to secondary infection, and which will lead to the consequent septic bacteremia. Okay, now what is the histological feature that can be seen in the Lucius phenomenon? The histological feature that can be seen in the Lucius phenomenon is that this is the epidermis and this is the dermis. So there is the ischemic necrosis of the epidermis and the dermis. Okay, and there is a thrombus formation. And parasitism. There is a thrombus formation and parasitism of endothelial cells. So this is also probably mediated by the immune complexes. So this is all about the Ridley and Joplin classification. Other classifications we will be discussing in the next video. Thank you.